Hey everyone, bringing Greg Dickerson back today for episode number 2 of our talk about the expert series. And this is, all right, everybody, take a deep breath. Great news today. There's again a light at the end of the tunnel, but boy, we still have arguably 6 or 9 months of pain to get through. Is that a fair assessment, Greg?
At a minimum, we've got to get this vaccine out there. We have to get people vaccinated. We have to know it's going to work. And then there's all of that momentum that has to be ramped back up. So, it's not like we can just flip a light switch because we have a vaccine and everybody's back to work and all the hotels are occupied again and all the restaurants are full and all the theaters are full and the cruise lines and the airlines and, which is about 25% of the economy,
Yeah.
in terms of consumption, that has to be replaced in order for us to get back where we were. Now it's a good, like you said, it's a good light. There's some good momentum. People are excited about it, but we got a long road ahead of us to get it out there to where it can affect anything that we're dealing with right now. So I don't see anything economically changing in the real economy in the next 6 to 9 months. The government can certainly step up and fill some gaps and plug some holes and provide some liquidity. But the problem is they're not providing it in the right places to the right people.
I think that's the big question I have is, again, I stand by what I would have said yesterday. I still think Q4 is record bankruptcies, both corporate and personal. And I do think 2021 second half is generally good. I'm talking about record grand openings. I've said those before, and I continue, and I feel better about both those statements today. But the question I want to ask you now is, are we more or less likely to get a skinny stimulus deal? I still think that's important. I think if a skinny deal focused on the people at the 25% of the economy that's still not working is the right thing to do. But I'm not sure Congress is going to do the right thing. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, so there's still that big battle between, what Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats want versus what the Republicans in the Senate want versus what the president and administration want. So let's assume Biden's in office. We have a Republican Senate and we have a Democratic Congress. That's kind of what the contemplation is right now.
Uh-huh.
So in that scenario, obviously, and here's the key thing to remember about a Biden administration. Okay, it's Biden Harris. Biden is he's a one-termer. Okay, he's going to be too old. He's not going to want to run for a second term. Harris is the heir apparent. Biden is the bridge for Harris. So she's going to be the Democratic presidential nominee next go around. And what they saw in this election is that the country is, down the middle in terms of policy, what they're looking for. They're middle line. They're not far right and they're not far left. They want a centrist government. They want compromise. They want negotiation. They want win-win for everybody. And, that's what the people clearly have said in this election. So they are very aware in order for, even if Biden does want to run for another term and can, and, whatever, but for that to continue and for Harris to continue, they have to govern down the middle. They have to bring both sides together and they have to compromise. So I think you're more likely to get a better deal with a Biden administration just because of the contentious relationship that the Trump administration has created with everybody, and all the policymakers. So I think there's more opportunity to get more done with a Biden administration. The question is, who's going to get the money and what is that going to look like? And with a Republican controlled Senate, there's going to be some discipline there in terms of, who gets what when. But at the end of the day, the biggest issue they have is they're still not putting money in the pockets of the people that really need it, that's going to really drive this economy. And that is the consumer.
Agreed.
That small business that cannot qualify for any kind of a loan or assistance or anything like that. And it's the liquidity that was lost from everybody who was forced to close. So again, stimulus is not stimulus. It's been life support, what we've done so far.
Totally agree.
And it has done zero for Main Street, for small business, for restaurants, retailers, small mom and pop shops, and self-employed individuals that have had to go out of business. It did absolutely nothing for them. It all went straight to the banks, straight to Wall Street. The banks had record profits at their trading desks.
Yeah.
Wall Street's off to the races, and it's all because of the free money that they're getting.
Yep.
It's not that difficult.
It's
if you
disgusting,
can refund somebody's taxes, you can track these businesses and replace the liquidity that they lost to bring this economy back. So that's the kind of discussions they need to have. And it'll be very interesting to see how that shakes out.
So based on what you just said, and again, I'm just going to guess based on what you said, and if I'm wrong, just tell me. You put 0% chance of getting a skinny stimulus deal done during what is called the lame duck session.
Yeah, anything meaningful, yes.
Yeah. I do want to throw this idea out at you. I put this out, I think, on Saturday. Just see if it logically makes sense. And again, this assumes this goes, the Senate's Republican and Biden wins. Those are assumptions, votes still being counted. But let's just assume. Mitch McConnell is now the most powerful Republican. Again, assuming this all shakes out. And Nancy is no longer the most powerful Democrat. Though that has changed, fundamentally changed. So what I am proposing is a skinny deal is more likely to get done now than ever before, because Nancy was doing the whole all or nothing. That is dead in the water. That's not going anywhere. So what I think happens sometime this week is Biden walks into Mitch's office and goes, "Hey, buddy, we've known each other 30 years. We have done deals together. What is it going to take to get a skinny stimulus deal done by Christmas?" Now, some of you may be looking at that going, "What the hell are you talking about? Trump is still our president." Yes, hold on. So first off, Mitch and Biden agree on some kind of unemployment kicker, whether it's 300 or 400. They agree on releasing the PPP money, which is sitting there, right, but wasn't allocated in time. So it's not even new money. And then McConnell gets his liability protection for businesses, which Nancy never wanted. So my guess is unemployment goes to 400, Mitch gets his liability, and we release PPP. Now, I understand Trump is still the president. This is why Trump signs it. Trump signs it because he wants his name on the check. Because what he wants to be able to say in 4 years, if he chooses to run again, is, "Hey, I gave you the money. I fought for you until the bitter end. Let me back in office. I did all this. This is me." I could see the dominoes falling where we get a skinny stimulus deal by Christmas. Am I crazy?
Well, I mean, it's possible, and I think everybody wants it. The question is, how much say does the Pelosi, controlled Congress, because she
Zero.
still controls it.
Nah, she got
How
zero
much
right now.
how much say do they really have at the end of the day? Because the Democrats still control, the Congress, the House.
Yeah, I think it's exactly what we had a week ago, just the reverse, right? Trump was willing to do a 2 trillion or 1.8 or 1.9 trillion dollar deal, and basically he was saying he'll force McConnell to get behind it. That's how I read the news. Guess what, Nancy, you're not in charge anymore. You have a president-elect who's a Democrat, and he is the most important person. He will go to the House and go, "Pass this."
Yeah,
they're going to listen. That's what I think.
Yeah, potentially. The question is, how likely, can that happen? And, where does Trump fall in this whole thing? And how does it all shake out? And,
Yeah.
if he's in office and in power, the question is, what is he really willing to sign off on? And, whether he has ambitions to run again or not, I have no idea. But,
yeah, that's the question.
I think
that's the wrinkle.
I think they will get something passed, because they're something has to get done at some level, on a more life support stimulus. Yeah. So stimulus is not stimulus. Stimulus would be infrastructure. It would be all kinds of different things, right? Right now we're talking about life support again. So that could potentially, I think something like that could potentially get pushed through, because it's in everybody's best interest. The Republicans still want to get those other Senate seats. The House is changing fundamentally, like you said. Nancy Pelosi, hopefully she's gone and out of the picture, because she is a problem.
Yep.
Regardless of what people think, the unwillingness to compromise is a problem. Something
Totally
could have
agree.
and should have gotten done by now.
Totally
So that that's not good. And I think Biden has a better relationship with everybody in Washington than Trump, and is more likely to be able to get some things done if he has the ability to even do that.
Yeah. Again, it's wishful thinking. I admit, again, sometimes I look at the chessboard and I imagine possibilities that aren't really there, but hey, what else do I get to do all day? So it's fun sometimes. So
it's interesting times, I tell you, very interesting times. And I think that election, proved a lot of things. It showed, number one, that we as a country are a lot closer than we think we are, right? Regardless of which side of the line you are, the vote clearly showed we all want to be right down the middle, and there's room for compromise. There's room for everybody in this conversation. We need our leaders to reflect how you and me and we all conduct ourselves every day in business, right? We get along, we negotiate, we compromise
all the time.
Come on, Washington, get
off
your act
butt.
together, get stuff done, quit acting like a bunch of children. It's
Oh,
time to grow up. It's time to
amen.
act like adults, and it's time to act like the professionals that we sent you there to be. So that's the good news of this election, I think. And the other good news is you can't believe the media, you can't believe the polls.
Yeah.
What you need to do is watch what's really going on, right? It's kind of like I say about Wall Street. Don't listen to what they say.
Yeah.
Watch what they do. Where's the money going? What does the policy look like? What are the insiders buying and selling? What does the Fed have on their balance sheet? What moves are they making? That tells you what's really going on.
Totally agree, man. This has been a great conversation. I enjoyed it. I'm really looking forward to number 3. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Thanks.